Hi friends, it's been so long since I filmed a vlog, and that is that is mostly because my camera was broken since the middle of the summer, so that took a long time for me to get around to fixing. But now we're back and in like 720p or something, 1080, 720, a lot of pixels. But to kind of segue or transition back into regular vlogging, I figured that a quick Q&A, it's not gonna be quick, but a Q&A would be awesome. So the other day, I posted on Instagram, so I asked people to ask me questions, and I got like over 150 comments, so I'm gonna try to pick like the ones that got asked the most. I took like some screenshots so we can kind of have some sort of organization, but I already know that this can be like a complete cluster. So let's see, I got a lot of people asking like when I started lifting, how I got to where I am now, basically my fitness journey, quote unquote. So first, I guess I'm gonna start with that. So I started out because I played volleyball, and I started playing volleyball in the 7th grade. I also rode horses. I was a competitive show jumper. So once I started getting serious about club, I kind of had to like pick between riding and volleyball, and I picked volleyball, but I would love to get back into riding someday because I really miss it. But anyways, so I moved to a more competitive club, and when I did that, I started having strength and conditioning workouts with my teammates and just for like athletic development. And I really enjoyed those, and I thought they were really fun. During school season, I would go to practice every day, and then when school season ended, I only had club practice like 2 or 3 times a week. So what I would do is days I didn't have club practice, I would go to the gym and work out anyways because I enjoyed it. And throughout this whole time, I kind of had like an underlying like unhappiness about my body, and I was not overweight. I was an overweight child, so I feel not like obese, but I was chunky, and I feel like there's kind of an underlying issue, and that's what drove me to have like insecurities when I was older. But anyways, I had kind of like underlying insecurities about my body, and I really wanted to change my body, so I started going to the gym as like a aesthetic endeavor, if you will, not anymore to get better at volleyball, even though we did still have those strength and conditioning workouts. But I would go and I would like run like 3 miles on the treadmill and do some abs. I hate running, but I thought it would make my legs smaller, and so I did it, and I just wanted to be toned, but it got me nowhere, honestly. Like I hated it, and so I started, counting my calories, and I went to the gym, and I didn't know why I wasn't seeing results. And then I kind of stumbled upon like the Instagram fitness community, and at first I kind of just like ran more and ate less, that kind of thing. I wouldn't say that I had an eating disorder like to that extent or anything, but it definitely wasn't a healthy cycle that I was in. It wasn't a healthy relationship with food. And then I discovered a lot of people on Instagram that preach, lifting heavy and eating to fuel your workouts, and and that really opened my eyes to another way. And I started kind of doing more like bodybuilding style workouts, and I really, really, really love them. So fast forward, I start playing college volleyball. I play my freshman and sophomore year. We have our off-season strength and conditioning workouts. Again, I really enjoyed that. And then I decided after my sophomore year to not play volleyball anymore. And that was a really hard decision for me, obviously, because it had been such a big part of my life for so long. But it ended up being like the best choice I could have made for myself. I really do miss like being part of a team like that, and like just the bond that you have with your teammates is my favorite part of playing volleyball. But it was for the best based on the direction the program was going, and just I my passions were elsewhere at this point. Like I really just wanted to pursue bodybuilding, and I wanted to pursue, you know, whatever I was doing on like social media, and my heart just wasn't in anymore, and that's like not fair to my teammates or my coaches. So I finished my season, you know, put my all into the rest of my sophomore season, but then I quit after that. But and I haven't looked back since. I miss playing, but I don't really miss being a volleyball player, if that makes sense. So that's where we're at. And then after I was done last fall, I took last fall through this spring to like reverse diet and get my metabolism up and put on as much muscle as I could. And then this June I started prep for my competitions this year. In October and November I did 2 shows, and then now I'm a month into my off season and it's going really well. Let's see. Okay, another question was, what am I going to school for? Like, what's my major? Do I have a job? And what do I want to do in the future? So I am in school. I'm pursuing a double major. So I'm going into my spring. I just finished my fall semester of my junior year. I am pursuing a double major in international business and marketing, and then my international business major has a concentration in Spanish. So that's what I'm doing. And looking to graduate with honors. That would be awesome. But yeah. Okay, my job. So as you guys I'm sure know, I'm a PE Science sponsored athlete. And in addition to that, I actually work for PE Science as well in their marketing department. I'm like the marketing team manager type thing. I don't have a like official job title because I started as the marketing intern, and then they were like, okay, now we're gonna hire you. So, but I don't really have a specific title. But basically my role there is to manage all of the marketing team, which we don't do any mass marketing. That's one of like the core values of PE Science. And so I manage like the affiliates and the athletes and the certified trainers, and I organize like other little projects like getting apparel made and, you know, logo water bottles and inviting people to expos. And I work from home on my laptop whenever I want, but it's usually like 3 or so hours a day, which is a blessing and a curse because I can work from wherever I want. I can work from bed if I want, but it's also a curse because I never truly like leave work. So yeah. And next, okay, people are asking how Drew and I met and how long we've been dating and all that jazz. And we actually have kind of an interesting story to our relationship. And I'm gonna tell it. Well, we actually went to the same high school. I don't know if you guys know, but Drew's older than me. He's 23 and I'm about to be 21. So when I was a freshman in high school, he was a senior. Yeah. So I thought he was really cute, and I don't know, like, but it was the kind of thing where you're like, he's so cute, but he doesn't know that I exist. And yeah, so that happened. He graduated, went to college, and then going into my senior year, I believe, it was my friend who was a year older than me. I went to his graduation party, and he had a older brother who was in Drew's grade. So my friend and his older brother both were having a party, so it was like a joint party. And so I met him there and we just started talking, and I kind of like messed with him and was like, yeah, I'm in college, like I'm getting a biology major and just like all this stuff. And he believed me for a little while, and I could tell that he was like, oh, this girl's cool. And then he like realized that I was lying. Oh, this is funny, like tricking a college guy into talking to me and thinking I'm cool and whatever. But it was like kind of just a joke. And then later he like asked me for my number, and I was like, oh, okay. But he had realized that I was like making stuff up by then, but he couldn't resist. He came back and asked me for my number, and he texted me the next day, and I remember I was like, oh my god, this is actually real. What? No. And all of my friends were like freaking out because we were like kind of boy crazy, and we're like, oh my god, he's talking to me. And so then he took me on a date the next day, and we like went to Noodles and Company and a movie, and you know, like typical. But and then like a week later he asked me to be his girlfriend. So this was a ways back, okay, and he asked me to be his girlfriend, and everything was great because it was the summertime. And then he went off to college, like football season started, so he was gone, and I was in high school, and senior year of high school was like a really rough time for me. It was kind of in like a transitionary part of his life, and long story short, we ended up breaking up after a year and a half together, and it was a really hard breakup, not because either of us did anything wrong, but it just was not the right time for us. And it was actually, us breaking up was like the best thing that could have happened, because then we were both a little heartbroken, a lot heartbroken, and then wanted to like be the best us we could be. Both like worked on ourselves, you know, like self-improvement, read a lot of books and did a lot of soul searching, and just kind of like grew up separately and like found ourselves, because I'm a big believer that like you need to be complete and happy with yourself before you can be with anyone else and like give that relationship justice. And you know, I think we're like a great example of that. Is we took time apart, and we never like had the plan to get back together. Like we broke up, but then this spring, so like March, no, I think it was April, we ran into each other at a bodybuilding competition. Like, this is weird, I was not expecting to see you here. And so we talked a little bit, and then we just like started hanging out again. We went out to eat a couple times, went to Chipotle, we worked out together a few times, and then we just were like, I'm ready to give this another shot. And we just kind of realized that we like should be together, and we kind of forget like what day we became official again, but I'm pretty sure it was March 6th. So March 6th, we've been dating again since then, and honestly, like, so technically we've been dating for like a total of 2 years, but I really feel like our relationship this time is completely different, on a completely like better, superior level than ever before, because before we were kind of like, not that I'm not young and don't have maturing to do, but I was really immature in high school, immature about relationships. I was mature generally, and our relationship is awesome, and we I attribute that to us being happy with ourselves and taking time to, you know, soul search and become better people apart before we could be good together. Moving on, that was a lot of rambling. A few people asked me about my faith actually, and so someone asked, have you always gone to church? How does your faith play into your fitness journey? And I think this is because I've started like saying that I'm going to church, and I like post on Snapchat on Sundays that I go to church, and I think it's really interesting, not interesting, like I get it, but people assume that since I say I go to church that I'm Christian, and I'm actually not. I go to a Universalist Unitarian church, which is essentially, I would say it's like agnostic, where you don't believe that there's like one true God in the way that Christians do, and like Jesus is the son of the Father, that kind of thing, but you do believe that there's like a higher power. And basically when I go to church, it's like how to be a better human, and just like I don't know, it's kind of difficult to explain. Basically, I do believe that there's a higher power. I believe in being a good human. I believe that if you put positivity and good energy and love into the world, it'll come back to you. And yeah, so I would say I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a religious person in the sense where I identify with Christianity or Judaism or whatever. So yeah, I am not a Christian. So I'm really happy that now Drew and I have found this Unitarian Universalist church near us, because we really like it. And he grew up Catholic, but we're really enjoying like trying something new and having like a spiritual practice again. Frank the Pegasus asks, how do you feel about bodybuilding competitions as it relates to women's body images? Do you feel that it is more damaging than good, or that the process leads someone to more self-love? What has your experience been like in this regard? And I definitely think that doing a bodybuilding competition before you're ready can absolutely be damaging, and I think it can be a really, really bad idea if you're not ready to put yourself through that. And it does take a special kind of like mental space to be able to put yourself through a long prep for the goal of being compared to other people. And I feel like because of what I told you guys earlier about my issues with my self-esteem and my relationship with my body and food, like I worked through so much of that stuff before, like a few years ago, that at this point I feel so much better about where I'm at mentally, that like where I'm at physically does not define who I am. And it's also about competing for the right reasons. I competed because I wanted to challenge myself, I wanted to grow as a person, and I wanted to have another competitive outlet. It wasn't because I wanted that stage body and I wanted to look good, because you can diet and exercise and whatever and look good for yourself. I've done that. And so I think it really comes from where you are mentally, if you're ready for it, how sound you are in your like confidence, your relationship with food. So it's really just knowing like what you mentally can handle, what your like relationship with yourself is like, if you have like the self-love on lockdown, because that needs to be on lockdown before you start prep. Totally just switched to my phone camera because my real camera died. But let me know if you have any video requests. But I do have a bunch of great ideas for upcoming vlogs and sit down videos, that kind of thing. I have so much to do today, wow. Drew and I are going to California tomorrow, just for funsies, and I haven't started packing, I haven't mailed out everyone's Christmas presents yet, and wow, much overwhelm. And I also need to go to the gym. But that will be all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're excited that I'm back to vlogging, because I really am. I'm so excited that I have my camera back and that I'm gonna have time to do this regularly again, at least during winter break. And I'm definitely going to be vlogging my trip to California. So please subscribe if you're not already, and give this video a thumbs up. And I will talk to you guys next time. Mwah. Bye.